You're not alone. If you need someone to talk to today, please contact Crisis Services Canada by either calling them at 1-833-456-4566 all hours of the day, or you can text them at 45645 at 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, you're not alone, and Crisis Services Canada is here to help. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this Thursday night edition of Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. I'm your host, Graeme Forsyth. Tonight's edition of Coffee with Graeme is brought to you by our wonderful sponsors of the show in Toby Hockey, Evolve Green, Case Financial Group, Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy, and AETI. In tonight's edition of the show, we're going to have 4 people joining the show, 4 guests in total. Joining me first off is going to be Seth Rach on the first edition of Seth's Inside Scoop for 2022, as Seth takes a look, previews, and breaks down the upcoming matchups coming up this Friday, so tomorrow night on the network, between the Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy U15 Male Prep Buffaloes taking on the Okanagan Hockey Academy Edmonton U15 Prep team. And then at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, we'll be seeing the Winnipeg Avros and Pembina Valley Hawks take on each other in some MFHL regular season action. So after the intro of Coffee with Graeme, Seth will be coming on to break down and preview all 4 of the teams in action on network tomorrow night in those 2 games on Seth's Inside Scoop here on Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. And for the first time in 2022, Seth Rach, the main man on Seth's Inside Scoop, joining his segment for the first time here on 2022 on this Thursday night. Seth, how are you doing on this Thursday evening, man? Thanks for coming on your segment for the first time here in the new year.
Yeah, glad to be back for the new year. I'm doing okay. It's one of those classic Thursday nights where it's on during the winter, so you don't really have much to do, and you're just looking at how cold it's supposed to get. I heard somewhere when I was out today, it was supposed to get to minus 53 with the wind chill tonight.
Yeah. My mom was telling me about that. She said it multiple times, and I just think about it, Seth. And I don't want to go anywhere near outside. I don't want to step foot outside tonight for sure, for any reason. So I think I'm going to stay bundled up here in my house. I assume you're going to be doing the same. But 2 games to talk about. Only 2 games we will be covering here on the network. One game is going to be played at 7 p.m. tomorrow night against the Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy U15 Male Prep Buffaloes, taking on the OHA Edmonton U15 Prep team. And then an hour after the puck drops in that game, me and you will be covering the game in Morden between the Pembina Valley Hawks and the Winnipeg Avros at 8 p.m. In Morden, Manitoba, in the MFHL, in some MFHL action. But let's start off with the CSSHL action. Pilot-Mound and OHA Edmonton taking on each other. Both teams haven't played since the 2021 portion of their schedule. What should we expect from these 2 teams coming into that game tomorrow night?
These are 2 teams that are, when I was looking at the standings, they are pretty close to one another. OHA being 10th in the league, and then Pilot-Mound being 14th. So and they do have similar records, so they are close. This is going to be a very close and entertaining matchup, and me and you don't get to see it, but I imagine Cody will be having a very entertaining time covering these two teams when they do go in action tomorrow.
Yeah, of course. For those of you that don't know, since we got 2 games an hour apart happening on the network tomorrow, me and Seth, of course, as I mentioned before, will be giving you guys the play-by-play and color commentary in Morden, Manitoba in that PV and Winnipeg Avros game. And of course, Cody will be going solo to cover this game that we're talking about right now, the Buffaloes and OHA Edmonton game happening at Blackjack Stewart Arena. But let's start off with the Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy Buffaloes here, Seth. Team that, 4-10 coming into this game, 39 goals for, 115 against. Let's talk about their offense. Third least goals scored in the CSSHL U15 prep division. What we should be expecting from this offense coming out right from the jump in that game tomorrow night.
Yeah, this is a pretty good team. I don't think the goals against really dictate how this team has played this year. I think a majority of these teams in this league have those stars that will lead the team in points, and this team does have that guy that does lead the team by quite a bit in points. But mainly when we're talking about this Pilot-Mound team, I kind of look towards the whole team. We haven't covered them too much yet on the show, but I have noticed from them that they're a pretty fast team, and normally it's a team effort with them. They're all doing their part to try and get the lead, really try to put points. And obviously, their offense is led by Bo Murray, but I think aside from him, I do think they got some good pieces to work on, especially up front.
Yeah, and Bill Murray should be back in the lineup. I know when I talked to him on the show in 2021, Seth, he said he was fully healthy before, some games that they still had left to play in the 2021 portion of their schedule. But talking about, Captain Bo Murray, as well as a guy like Liam Chartrand, who leads the forwards on the team in points in the regular season action with 13 points in 10 games played, how these two are going to be looking to drive the offense up there for this Buffaloes team tomorrow night.
Yeah, they're two guys that play with speed. They love to generate opportunities, and they do all the magic with them comes in the offensive zone. You see how they're able to move pucks. You see how they're able to get shots off and just really drive the offense for this Pilot-Mound team. And this team is definitely going to be looking to these two guys for leaders in this game coming this Friday.
And of course, there's 2 defensemen that have been very prominent offensive producers for the Buffaloes this year, and that's Carson Carrolls and Gage Sutherland. Of course, these two have been paired up on the same pairing as the season has gone along, talking about, how huge their impact will be in the offensive zone, producing offense from the back end.
Yeah, it'll be massive, and especially because they play on the same line. It's almost like these two unbeatable guys. They're both able to put pucks in the net, help put pucks in the net rather. And another thing is they both work well in their defensive zone, and when they're together, they're even better. And they have been a deep pairing for a majority of the year, I do believe. And these are two guys other teams don't like to go up against. Even if you're the top team in the league, these are two defenders that you really need to watch out for on the ice. Wherever you are on the ice, these guys can make an impact.
Moving into the defensive side of things now, Seth, this Buffaloes team, 115 goals against, second most goals allowed in the CSSHL regular season play in the U15 prep division. Talking about how important their defensive play will be in this game, as they've, struggled on that side of things, giving up a lot of goals so far, as mentioned.
Yeah, obviously they have they have let in a few more goals than I think that I know they would have liked to. But I think as the start of the year, obviously these teams are brand new, and getting to know each other is a pretty tough thing. But as the year goes on, I think it's gotten a little bit better for them, and I think just grind out the game, really just work as hard as you can, Yeah, it's been tough for them to keep pucks out of the net, but I think as the year's gone on, I think they've gotten better at playing solid in their D zone, and have really limited chances against other teams.
Well, whoever starts in net, they'll definitely be wanting to, see this team allow as little chances as possible out there. And Keane Reed and Pete Moreau, not sure who's going to get the start out of the two in tomorrow's game, but what should we be expecting from these two goaltenders, whichever one of them plays in their first game of 2020?
Yeah, these are two goalies that, you look at the stats, you look at the goals against average. That's probably the big thing when you see with these goaltenders. And you think you see it with 8.4 and a 15.2. You don't really obviously those numbers are probably not where you'd like them to be, but I think they're a lot of what you see on paper is not actually accurate. Obviously, you can't really debate with the math there, but these two goalies have played excellent in the games that we've seen. They've been outshot. The Pilot-Mound's been outshot in these games that we've covered, and the amount of saves that these goalies have to make on the night-to-night basis whenever they're playing is pretty big. So I think these two goaltenders, you can expect them to make a lot of saves, and you can expect them to be, at the top of their game come Friday.
Talking about the keys to the game for the Buffaloes in this one, Seth, going up against a team, like you said, they're closer in the standings. They're close in the standings to each other in terms of their placement. What the keys are going to be in the game for the Buffaloes tomorrow night against this OHA Edmonton team.
Yeah, just I think the first key is expect the other team to come out just as hard as you. I think the few games that we have covered, I do remember the other team whoever they faced really came out a little bit faster with their movement speed. And I think the main thing for Pilot-Mound is to come out here and get your legs moving right away. Drive the play and really work at trying to get some shots on net early, and especially try to work on getting the first goal. That's always the first step to every plan.
Moving into the OHA Edmonton team, the Okanagan Hockey Academy Edmonton U15 prep team. This is a team coming into this game, Seth, who was on a 4-game losing streak. Taking a look at the standings so far, where they're at. Just got to load the standings up here for them. They are in 10th place, a 5-8-1 record so far. One overtime loss being that one number that I just mentioned. 58 goals for, 65 goals against. This team definitely going to be looking to come in hungry after the long break they've had, knowing they're looking to snap that 4-game losing streak.
Yeah. And they certainly got the tools to do it. They got a few really gifted offensive players in the lineup. And I think if they can get these guys rolling right from the very get-go, it's going to be very hard for Pilot-Mound to really maintain or really generate offense for themselves. But, this is a team that has a lot of talent. And, I think personally, I believe it's only a matter of time before this team does climb out of this little losing skid that they've been on.
Well, talking about those goals for that they have so far this year, of course, as mentioned, 58 goals for in these 14 games they've played so far. And that's, their leader so far in goals. And Landon McFadden with 20 goals, 8 assists for 28 points. Andrew Thompson, 10 goals, 16 assists, 26 points. He's second on the team in points. And then, of course, they got a offensive defenseman in Matt Peranic with 3 goals, 20 assists for 23 points. Just talking about, the impact of those 3 players, what they'll have on this game up tomorrow night. Yeah,
it's going to be a massive impact. I think, most nights they look to these, 3, even 4 players in Mays as well, These guys are the leaders when it comes to the offensive numbers. You expect them to put points up every night. And I just want to come out here and mention McFadden, 20 goals in 14 games. That's a definition of a pure sniper right there. That's pretty impressive to see 20 goals in 14 games. I don't know. I look at that. When I first saw that statistic today when I was doing some research, I just was, wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and of course, you mentioned Mays. I forgot to mention him there as I was asking you the question. Julian Mays, 21 points in 13 games played. So those four are, of course, the pure goal scorer, and Landon McFadden, as you said, Seth, going to be huge parts of OHA's game tomorrow. But how are you going to expect this OHA Edmonton team tomorrow to come out and attack in the offensive zone against this Buffaloes team?
Yeah, I expect it's probably going to be an all systems go kind of mentality. Obviously they have these four guys that like to lead in the offense, and then it kind of trails off a little bit after that. But pretty much everyone on this team that plays on a night-to-night basis has a point at least. And I think all systems go is the right way to think of it, because they got all these guys that can help up and down the lineup. Obviously, there's the outliers with McFadden, Thompson, Peranich, and Matt Mays, who get the majority of the points on the team. But I think it's going to be an all team effort, especially with the way Pilot-Mound plays and how it's normally an all team effort with them as well.
Well, this is a OHA Edmonton U15 prep team that has more goals against than goals for. Looking at the stats here, as mentioned, like they're 58 goals for, of course, but 65 goals against. Talking about how this team is looking to clean some stuff up in the defensive zone so far. I mean, not so far, but heading into this game against the Buffaloes.
Yeah, and they're going up against another team that's had their own struggles defensively. But I think, just try to stick to your game and try to really follow what coach has in store for the game plan. Obviously both teams have had their struggles defensively, and I think the main thing is you got to come out there and try not to give anything up. Try not to give up any odd man rushes or any opportunities for the other team to potentially give them a goal scoring chance, because both these teams are looking to really come out I'm trying to say that they're they should go out there with the same game plan, because they're both have struggled a little bit defensively, and I think just trying to play a system all together, and really needs to be a team effort defensively, I believe, for this game.
Talking about defenseman Matt Peranich, I said Peranic at first. It's pronounced Peranich, as you said, Seth. Leads the team in terms of defenseman, as a defenseman on the team within the defenseman in points, with 23 points in 14 games, as mentioned. But talking about how huge his defensive play, is going to be in this game, trying to lead this defensive core of the OHA team against the Buffaloes tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think it's got to be massive. I mean, he leads the team in assists as well with 20, and I think he's definitely going to be their power play quarterback. He's definitely going to be the guy that they throw first on the back end for the power play, and he puts up points, and he does a really good job. He gets 20 assists. He's definitely the so-called dish master on this team, as I like to call him, but he's one of their best players, and he's always looked on to be one of their top point getters on a night-to-night basis. And he's got to be the top of his game if they want to find success coming up against Pilot-Mound on Friday.
And of course, we know that obviously Pilot-Mound hasn't put up the offensive numbers they've wanted, of course, lacking in that side of things. But they got players that can step up and produce, like mentioned, Bo Murray, Liam Chartrand, and those two guys on the back end, and Carson Carrolls and Gage Sutherland. So just talking about it, not only the defense, but going into the goaltenders now for OHA, how huge their impact on the game, their performances are going to be in tomorrow's game in order to beat this Buffaloes team.
Yeah, I think they both got to be really hungry coming into this game. It's going to be a tough task, especially against another hungry team in Pilot-Mound that's going to be looking to put up some solid numbers as well. But I just think these two goaltenders, they need to be at the top of the game, whether it's Knorr or Swanson in net. I think they both have had a pretty good year. Obviously, the goals against average is a stat that we see in this league that I often don't really like to use too much, because oftentimes when we do go into these games, we see these goaltenders playing their hearts out, and unfortunately, there's quite a few goals that go in the net. So I think both these goaltenders, whoever they use in net for this game, it's going to be solid, and it's going to be a key to their success. They need to play as best they can to get the win against Pilot-Mound.
Yeah, for sure. Goaltending, coaches know that a goaltender can take you, as far as he's going to take them in the playoffs. Such a important position out there. We've seen it with a guy like Carey Price, Connor Hellebuck, so many good goaltenders. Vasilevsky in the NHL as well, Seth. You get good goaltending. Odds are you're going to win the game in OHA. Edmonton definitely looking to get that in tomorrow night's matchup against the Buffaloes. One more thing before we go to break here, finishing off the OHA Edmonton U15 prep talk here. The 3 keys to their game against the Buffaloes tomorrow night at Blackjack Stewart Arena.
Yeah, I think the first key is to get on the horse early. One of them, obviously you got to. I think that's a key. One key to the game for every team is have a fast start. I think that's pretty much what you're going to hear from me all the time. Always the number one thing is to get a fast start. But another thing is, just go out there and put on get a lot of shots. Take shots from all directions from anywhere you can, because we know Pete Moreau or Keen Reed, whoever's in net, can make a lot of saves a game. We've witnessed it firsthand how many saves these goaltenders can make it. So I think it's getting on them early and getting some shots, a lot of shots early for them is one of the main thing. And obviously the last thing is for me is they've had a long break. I think the main thing, the third thing here is to get the power play rolling as well. Obviously this team has a few guys that put up a lot of points, and these few guys are often on their first line power play. So you got to look to these guys really. Look to their power play really to kind of lead the charge, depending on how many opportunities they get on the power play.
Well, going to be an exciting game tomorrow at Blackjack Stewart Arena against these two teams. The OHA Edmonton U15 prep team sitting in 10th place right now in the CSSHL U15 prep division with a 5-8-1 record. And then the Buffalo sitting in 14th place, tied for 14th actually with no, I'm not even going to say that. I'm not even going to pronounce that. Anyways, Pilot-Mound tied for 14th place, 4 wins, 10 losses on the season for 11 points. Going to be a fun one tomorrow night at Blackjack Stewart Arena. Cody Wall will be on the call for that one. But Seth, when we come back here on this edition of your segment, we're going to move over to the game that we're going to be covering tomorrow night in Morden, Manitoba, between the Pembina Valley Hawks against the Winnipeg Avros in the MFHL. You're watching Seth's Inside Scoop on Coffee with Graeme. Stick around with me and Seth for more after this commercial break. Welcome back to Seth's Inside Scoop here on Coffee with Graeme. Seth, I'm going to do a better job here, try to at least, in articulating my words, because it was a lot of mumbo jumbo in that first part of the segment.
I like
stuttering on a lot of my words, but we're going to get better as it goes along with me and you. First segment of 2022, right? So we're going to finish this one off with a bang and talking about a very exciting matchup taking place in the MFHL tomorrow night at 8 p.m., of course, on ASTV Productions all across our network, actually just on YouTube, against the Pembina Valley Hawks and the Winnipeg Avros. The Hawks coming into this game as the 5th place team with an 8-9 record. The Avros coming in as the 3rd place team with a 13-2-1 record. This is going to be the second meeting of the year between these two teams in the regular season. First matchup took place on November 19th in 2021, where the Avros won that one 6-4. The Hawks finished strong in that game with 3 goals in the third, but it wasn't enough to tie that game up and potentially beat the Avros in that game. But Seth, what we should be expecting from these two teams after they had their games canceled last weekend, heading into their first matchup of the regular season in 2022 here against each other?
Yeah, I'm expecting a very exciting matchup. These two teams, Winnipeg Avros being one of the stronger teams in the league. But PV Hawks is being sort of, in my opinion, a dark horse in the league. They're fifth in the league, but I think they got a good as chance as any to really come alive, especially come playoff time. But these are two very strong teams, and I'm looking forward to covering this game that we didn't get to cover last week.
While the Hawks coming into this game, of course, as the fifth place team in the league with an 8-9 record, 55 goals for, which is fourth most in the league, and 52 goals against with which is tied for the third most goals against in the league. But talking about this offense first off, Abbey Bourdeaud'hui, talked about her in 2021 on that Hawks segment that we did here, talking strictly about the Hawks, how she's been this team's MVP so far this year, how she'll be looking to make an impact in tomorrow night's game against a very good Winnipeg Avros team.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, whenever we talk about the female PV Hawks, it's always, one of the main people we talk about is Abbey Bourdeaud'hui, and for good reason. She, in 26 games played, she has 31 points, 18 goals, and 13 assists. So, definitely one of the most valuable players in this, well, definitely for this team, but in the league too. She, you look at the league leaders, and she's, she's right at the top there, and she's one of the better players, and it's always fun to get to see what she can do whenever we get to cover her games.
Yeah, the speed and just her overall skill set has made her the leading point getter in the league at this point in the season, as well as the leading goal scorer. She's got 17 goals on the season and 26 points. She also has 9 apples adding to her totals, so definitely going to be exciting to watch her tomorrow, Seth. But talking about the way this Hawks team plays offense, a team that likes to get a lot of shots on net, ideally, and a team that, uses their speed and has a very good forecheck as well. How important will those things be against a very good team in the Avros who plays very well defensively?
Yeah, this Avros team is very good, and that's why I think the Hawks need to, they have to have all systems go come this game. All players need to be at their best, I think, in order to beat this Winnipeg Avros team, because this Winnipeg Avros team, like you said, is excellent defensively, and they're one of the better teams in the league. And the Hawks are going to be hungry to come out and it's always good it's always a good feeling when you can beat one of those better teams in the league. So I think the Hawks are going to come out really hungry, and I think they're going to take an all systems go sort of mentality towards this game.
Talking about defensively now, Seth, tied third most in goals allowed is the Hawks with 52 goals against. They'll be looking to up their, they're playing the defensive zone against a very good Avros team who has the second most goals for in the league. Talking about how huge the defensive play from this Hawks team is going to be in tomorrow night's action against the Avros.
Yeah, it's got to be big. They got quite a few goal scorers on their team as well themselves. So, they got to be at their best, I think, in order to win this game. And oftentimes players do elevate their play when stronger teams do come to visit. So I think this team is definitely going to be looking to really have things, really have been working on things defensively for this game. And I think their defense is going to be the biggest part, if not the biggest, one of the biggest parts, if not the biggest, when it comes to trying to beat the Avros team.
Yeah, looking to limit those shots that the Avros are going to try to get against this Hawks team. And, who would appreciate that is whoever plays in goal for the Hawks tomorrow in Tria Enns or Kaylee Franz. What you'll be expecting from, whichever one of those goaltenders starts in this game tomorrow night going up against the Avros.
Yeah, this year I've been impressed with both of them. They've been able to maintain just a calmness in net, when not allowing goals to really get to them. They've always showed strong resilience, and I'm excited to see what whoever starts in net. Obviously we don't know until we get the starting lineups for the game when we do cover it. But these two goaltenders are often looked upon to really carry the workload for this team. And, both of them have been doing excellent recently. Tria Enns with a .918 save percentage and Kaylee Franz with a .905 save percentage. Pretty good statistics for them, I'd say. And, definitely definitely whichever one's in that, you the team has a lot of confidence in whichever goaltender is in net. So I think they're going to be they're not going to be really worrying about their goaltending.
Yeah, and you talk about calmness with these two goaltenders, their save percentage numbers as well, and talking about the calmness, definitely going to be a huge thing against a very good Avros team, who I would say is arguably the best team in the MFHL, even though they're only in third place. But let's talk about the keys to the game for the Pembina Valley Hawks on tomorrow night's game against the Winnipeg Avros.
Yeah, obviously, I had kind of, ruined it a little bit before. I always say a quick start, but, a quick start's always so important for a team. And I think it's as tiring as it is probably to hear it. I think it's, number one thing any team always, thinks about. And another thing, I think we were both discussing it a little bit. I think calmness, but not only from the goaltending, I think from the whole team. If you get down in the game early, don't let that get to you. Stay calm, stick to your game, and keep applying pressure, and really just don't let those goals really get to you. And obviously, that calmness plays into the third factor for me, which is resiliency, which also ties into what I just barely said. Don't let an early lead or don't let an early lead or just a lead in general really get to your team. Just keep playing your game and just keep trying to muster out the game and really work for the victory in this game.
Yeah, for sure. Quick start, calmness, and the other things you mentioned there, Seth. You cut out a bit. That was my bad. My Wi-Fi went out for a split second. I got pretty nervous there, but we're all good now. We'll continue talking about this matchup right now. Talking about the Winnipeg Avros, third place team in the league, 13-2-1 record, 60 goals for, which is second most in the league, and 26 goals against, which is the least given up so far. Talking about this team's offensive ability so far, and talking about how deep this team is. They got players like Nora Collins, second in the league in points with 23, and second in goals with 14. So we'll be seeing the two top goal scorers in the MFHL battling it out tomorrow, with Collins and Abbey Bourdeaud'hui facing off against each other. Would be exciting to see them face off against each other out there on the ice many times tomorrow. Could you see head coach of the Avros, Ashley Van Aglen, line matching, that line with Collins, whatever line she's on, against that Bourdeaud'hui line?
It's tough to say, depending on the approach to the game. I think it all depends on the approach to the game. If they want to match skill with skill, then certainly, I think they're going to be playing each other all night. But if they want to, pad onto those defensive stats, I think you might throw it at one of your more defensive lines to kind of try to balance out Abbey Bourdeaud'hui, or if you're the Hawks, you try to balance out Nora Collins. I think it all really depends on the kind of game plan or the way the coach wants to approach the game.
Yeah, and Nora Collins, of course, has been the leading point getter for this Avros team so far this season in the MFHL regular season, and leading goal scorer. But they also got players like Kaylin Wisner, who's in her second season with the team, 20 points in 16 games played. And of course, captain Courtney Bays with 19 points in 16 games played. But, they got so much talent on this team, other than those three players just mentioned in Collins, Wisner, and Bays, just talking about how this depth from the Avros could serve them very well in tomorrow's match up against the Hawks.
Yeah, I think it could be a make or break for them. Their depth's really, really good. And one thing about their depth is it's not just all about scoring with them. It's defensive play, like we've talked about before. This team is a very good defensive team. Obviously, they have the least goals against in the league, which is, a very, I think it's safe to say most teams, if not all teams, would love to be in their position when it comes to goals against. But this team is very deep, and that might be one thing that's pretty tough for the Hawks to manage. Although they got depth themselves, this Winnipeg Avros team is insanely deep. So you need to look to try and shut down all lines that they have.
Well, talking about the goals against now, Seth, as mentioned, earlier, 26 goals against, least given up in the league for the Avros this season, as they've given up the least goals in the league. Talking about this defensive core for this Avros team, and not only that, but the way this team plays in the defensive zone that makes them so successful.
Yeah, it's excellent. They all have they really, I feel like it plays into how well they work with their coach. They obviously tune into everything they have to say, and anything the coaching staff has that the team needs to work on, they really apply it to their game. Like, they play a very systematic sort of game, and I think, depending, it can really help out in that game against this Hawks team, where they have a lot of depth themselves and they have to generate offensive opportunities. And I think the defensive positioning in their own zone, it plays into the way the coach wants the game played for their team. And I think, this team definitely is going to be a tough to score on tomorrow. And I think the defense all year for them has just been fantastic.
Yeah, and just looking at it, not only have they been so good defensively, limiting shots for their goaltenders, but their goaltenders have been very good this season, Seth. And Jenna Gertzen, my apologies, who has a 7-1 record, a .939 save percentage, which is one of, if not the best in the league. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I can't really remember if it is the best save percentage in the league, but a 1.37 goals against average and 3 shutouts as well. And then the other goaltender, Yanina Karitanovic, 6-2 record, a .904 save percentage, 1.86 goals against average, and 1 shutout on the season. Just talking about how huge it's been for them getting this type of play out of 2 goaltenders that are only in their second year, really their first year in the league, just taking into account that last season being their first. In last year's season, they really didn't get a season.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive what these goaltenders have been able to do on the year, and I think, like you said, they could be one of the best. They could be the best team in the league, despite them being third, and I think that's definitely true. And I think, all those factors we mentioned before, plus this goaltending, has really helped to that. And whether it's Jenna or Yanina, they have so much confidence in these goaltenders, and these goaltenders have so much confidence in themselves, I believe, because of how well they've played. Yeah, it's going to be tough for the Hawks to be able to generate offense, first because of the defense, and then if they do break the defense, then it's some of the best goaltenders in the league that they have to go up against. So it's going to be very tough. But these 2 goaltenders are really reliable, and this team obviously really appreciates these 2 goaltenders for being in net for them.
Yeah, and just some clarification on the save percentage number, the stat there for Gertzen. She is actually second in the league in save percentage, behind the Winnipeg Ice's goaltender in Laura Melissa, with a .945 save percentage. So pretty darn good goaltenders in this league here, Seth. But let's finish off with this for the Winnipeg Avros. The keys to the game for them tomorrow night against a Pembina Valley Hawks team that's going to be looking hungry to come in and potentially steal a win on their home ice against the Avros, as the Avros will be the road team.
Yeah, for one, I think defensive zone, maintaining your guys' defensive zone reliability, I think, is going to be the main thing, because if they're caught on one misplay, I think, because of the Hawks, how good they are on the rush, I think the defense needs to stay strong. It's been strong all year, so I'm assuming there won't be too many breaks for them, but I think they really got to watch out for those really breakdowns, defensive zone breakdowns, because the Hawks will make them pay if they don't. Obviously, there's the quick start that I always talk about, so I'm not really going to go into that one that much. But I also think just making sure your players come to play. Obviously, they weren't able to play last week in this Winnipeg Avros team and Hawks team. They've both been resting for quite a while since the break, but I think. Yeah, just making sure you're playing at the top of your game, and really trying to limit any, defensive zone breakdowns.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, these 2 teams playing their first game of the 2022 portion of the schedule after having their games postponed last weekend due to COVID-19 protocol. Crossing my fingers, Seth, that that does not happen again, but it's looking pretty good right now that we will be able to broadcast that game. And Seth, can't wait to cover it with you tomorrow night in Morden, Manitoba at 8 p.m. is when the puck drops. Until then, man, you take care, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Seth Rach joining this week's edition of his segment, Seth's Inside Scoop on Coffee with Graeme. Seth, always a pleasure, man. You take care.
Thanks, you too.
Seth Rach joining this week's edition of Seth's Inside Scoop to talk about the upcoming games tomorrow night on the network against the Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy U15 male prep Buffaloes, taking on the Okanagan Hockey Academy Edmonton U15 prep team at 7 p.m. at Blackjack Stewart Arena. And like I said throughout that segment, an hour later, the puck is going to be dropping in Morden, Manitoba, in a very, very exciting matchup. I'm excited for it, personally, against the Winnipeg Avros and the home team, the Pembina Valley Hawks. That game coming to you guys at 8 p.m. You guys can catch that one on our YouTube at Amateur Sports TV. You guys can catch the Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy game, I believe, on our Facebook, on our Twitter, and on our website as well. Our website being astvproductions.com, Facebook ASTV Productions, and Twitter at Amateur Sports TV. But we are not done here on Coffee with Graeme. To be honest, we are far from it. We got 3 more interviews coming up in tonight's episode, and joining me next is going to be a U17 male prep Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy Buffaloes forward number 14, Sam Takahashi, to talk about his choice to come to Pilot-Mound, Manitoba to play hockey, the season that he's been having so far this year, the season the team has been having so far this season, as well as the upcoming matchups the team has this weekend against the Notre Dame Hounds. You're watching Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Stick around for more after this commercial break.
Why go solar? Solar is better than ever. Our revolutionary design and inverter equipment with the latest in solar panel technology for the ultimate in-home and business security. That's right, I said security. Grid security and security of your home are linked. Fortify your future today with a battery backup system. No maintenance. Quiet running. Did you know in Manitoba, grid-connected, off-grid, and battery backup systems are 100% right off in the year you purchase for any company or farm? Do you want to back up your internet, keep your tills running, and the lights on? We can install a system that is right for you with battery backup fully capable of taking on all those essential loads and keeping you running. When you call our experts at Evolve Green, ask about getting your free energy audit today. Call or email today to find out what system works best for you. 1-866-5EVOLVE or support@evolvegreen.ca. Also, be sure to check out our website at www.evolvegreen.ca.
Welcome back to Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Seth Rach joined his segment here on the Thursday night editions of Coffee with Graeme. Seth's Inside Scoop for the first time in 2022. 2 exciting games happening on the network tomorrow night. If you guys want to check out that segment, be sure to, go rewind this episode later on and watch that segment with Seth, because he had a lot of great stuff to say, as always, in his segment this week. But welcome back to the show, everyone. We are going to continue talking about some hockey here, of course, as always on the show. And to be more specific, we're going to continue talking about some Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy hockey. And joining me now is number 14, first-year forward of the Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy Buffaloes U17 male prep program, Sam Takahashi. Sam, great to have you on the show here tonight, man. How's life back in Pilot-Mound after the Christmas break you guys had?
Oh, it's pretty good here. It was nice to have that break, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was on the agenda for you on the break? I'm assuming you celebrated Christmas, assuming you got some pretty nice presents and got to spend some time with the family. But what was Christmas break like for Sam Takahashi?
Yeah, it was lots of seeing friends and family and just, hanging out with everyone.
Right on. And Sam, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your hometown right. Is it Coquitlam? Is that where
Yeah,
you're from? Coquitlam, BC.
yeah.
Obviously a ways away from Pilot-Mound, Manitoba. This is your first year in the academy, so that begs the question: what came down to the decision for you to commit and play your first year of hockey in Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy this year?
For me, it was all the development I could get here. Having free ice a lot of the times and all that. And then it was also our involvement in the community and like being in a small town that really drew me in.
Yeah, right on. Is Coquitlam a pretty small town, or is it pretty decent size?
No, it's a pretty big city.
Pretty big city. So you're getting a bit of a different feel here this time around this year, being in small
Yeah.
town Pilot-Mound instead of being in your hometown in BC. But talk about your experience so far. Obviously, it seems like you've enjoyed it. Being in a small town in Pilot-Mound, just the experience of everything that comes with playing academy hockey. Talk about what the experience has been like so far for you, Sam.
Oh, the experience has been amazing. Being around the boys all the time and, I don't know, it's just really nice being around the boys all the time and being able to do anything we want and, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. And every one of your teammates that I've had here on the show is, talked about how you guys are like family now, like brothers,
Yeah.
talk about as the season has gone along, how you found that this group, in your opinion, has gelled and come together and, become brothers out there, really.
Yeah, at the start of season, we started out not so good. I didn't think we were really a team yet. We just kind of weren't fitting together. But slowly over time, we've come together, and I think we're really starting to play better now.
Yeah, for sure. And we've definitely seen the improvement from this team as the season has gone along. Even though the record isn't the greatest, definitely seen some improvement in this team as the season has gone along for you guys. Talk about the academy lifestyle, spending time with your teammates about 24/7, being on the ice every single day, getting to access the gym anytime you guys can, the school aspect of things as well as the traveling, the games that you guys have played, how the academy lifestyle has been for you so far.
Well, I've loved it. I love having a schedule and, getting up in the morning, having breakfast, heading to school, then coming to the rink. It's just amazing.
Talk about, the level of hockey that you've been playing at this season, of course, in the CSSHL. Not sure what level you played at before coming in Pilot-Mound, but, how does this compare to, the level of hockey that you've played, prior in your life in hockey?
I'd say this is pretty competitive here. I played AAA in BC the year before, but there's definitely a step up, and I've really enjoyed being able to play against these good teams and good players.
As the season has gone along, how have you adjusted to just the competitiveness out there, as well as just the level of hockey that's displayed in the CSSHL?
I think after the first month or so, I just kind of fell right into place and was able to, see what's happening and be able to compete with these guys.
Yeah, and we've seen your game as well as a lot of other players on this U17 team really progress as the season has gone along. And talking about your stats in terms of regular season games, Sam, you got 19 games played, 4 goals, 5 assists for 9 points, third on the team in points in the regular season. Talking about yourself, I don't think those numbers do you justice about what type of player you are out there, the biggest strengths in your game, what makes you the type of hockey player you are.
Yeah, I like to think of myself as a pretty defensive player. I really enjoy being out on the PK and being able to work to kill those penalties off. And I also think of myself as like a playmaker, more of instead of a goal scorer or hitter. I really think I can see the ice and make plays and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and definitely seeing your game in the defensive zone, you being reliable as well as being able to be on the PK, right? That just goes into you being that reliable player back there in the defensive zone. But, talking about, Christmas break some more, do you have a chance to get on the ice at all and continue to work on your skills, continue to, stay in game shape?
While I was home, I wasn't really able to get on the ice as it's pretty busy back home.
Right.
But I was able to keep working out and doing what I have to.
Yeah, and it's great that you're able to take some time for yourself, be able to relax, spend time with family, and also get some workouts in as well. Talk about what it's been like being back this week so far in Pilot-Mound, getting back into the swing of things, starting to practice again, and hit the gym whenever you can.
Oh, it's been pretty tough, but it's been really nice. First time on the ice, I was pretty bagged, but
Yeah.
I've been getting in the gym and getting on the ice as much as I can to be ready for this weekend.
Yeah, it was the Christmas dinner, all the goodies and all the treats you had on the holiday break really kicking in on that in that first game. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
sure was.
You're gonna have some time to work that off for sure, Sam. And you guys got a pretty big weekend of games coming up for your guys' first 2 games back in the 2022 portion of the schedule, going up against the best team in the U17 prep division in the Notre Dame Hounds. Currently 19 wins and only 1 loss for them this season. But you guys have had some experience playing against Notre Dame. You guys know each other pretty well at this point, just taking into the account of the number of times you guys have played against each other so far. What's going to be the game plan heading in against a pretty high-powered Notre Dame Hounds team this weekend?
I think if we head into the weekend staying calm and staying structured, we can come out with a win or 2.
And, of course, you guys are going to be on the road, traveling to Wilcox, Saskatchewan. Of course, road trips, always fun. How excited are you and the boys for the upcoming road trip this week?
Oh, we're excited.
Yeah, what's going to be the the events happening on the bus this time? I know that when I've had players on, you guys usually watch movies. It'll probably be that again, I'm assuming.
Yeah, probably just a bunch of movies, but we'll see.
Right on, Sam. Well, best of luck to you and the team this weekend coming up in Wilcox, Saskatchewan against the Notre Dame Hounds. Hoping you guys can come out with at least a win this weekend and, start to improve that record, as you guys are currently 4-15, 10th place in the league. Definitely can only go up from here, Sam. So thanks for coming on and joining the show here today on Coffee.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, Sam, you take care.
Yeah.
And Sam Takahashi joining this edition of Coffee with Graeme, one of Pilot-Mound's many rookie players on their U17 prep program this season. But we're not done talking about Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy on tonight's edition of Coffee with Graeme. Coming up after the commercial break, I'm going to be speaking with one of their U15 male prep players in Liam Chartrand to talk about his decision, why he chose to come to Pilot-Mound, Manitoba, as well as the year he's been having experience in being in this U15 program for Pilot-Mound, the first U15 program in the program's history, in the Hockey Academy's history, as well as the upcoming weekend that they have going up against the Okanagan Hockey Academy Edmonton team tomorrow night at Blackjack Stewart Arena, and probably some other things as well. You're watching Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Stick around for more with me and the next guest, Liam Chartrand, after this commercial break.
Welcome to Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy, your world-class academic and hockey training facility created to maximize each student's athletic and academic potential. Blackjack Stewart Arena, home of the Buffalo, is inside the 46,000 square foot complex, as well as a curling rink and other facilities. The students have a unique combination of successful, well-rounded education at Pilot-Mound Collegiate Institute and the professional hockey training in an encouraging community. The years of experience of on-ice coaching propel our students to the next level, both mentally and physically, in a professional environment.
Welcome back to Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Sam Takahashi, number 14, rookie forward for the Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy U17 male prep Buffaloes, joined the show most recently on tonight's edition of the show to talk about, his first year in Pilot-Mound, the experience so far, as well as, coming back from the Christmas break, getting back into the swing of things, how his season's been going so far, how he's been developing as a player, and just talking about the upcoming weekend of games that the team has going on their road trip to Wilcox, Saskatchewan, to battle it out with the top team in the U17 prep division in the CSSHL against the Notre Dame Hounds. But as you guys can see, I still got Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy, the Buffaloes logo in the background on my green screen, and that's because I'm going to be talking to another Buffaloes player now, this time from the U15 program, and Liam Chartrand. Liam, thanks for joining the show here tonight, man. Great to have you on. Excited to do this thing with you. How's it going being back in small town Pilot-Mound, Manitoba?
Yeah, it's going good. Definitely miss being here over the break, practicing with the team and hanging out with all my friends.
Yeah, and how was Christmas break for Liam Chartrand?
It was pretty good. I got to skate every second day pretty much, so that was definitely nice, keeping so much shape for hockey.
That's awesome. Always nice to hit the outdoor rinks, being able to skate. I'm assuming you skated on an ODR.
No, I actually skated in an indoor rink.
Oh, that's awesome. So there you go. You got to dodge that bullet of being in the extreme cold that has been hitting Manitoba in the recent weeks here. What rink were you in?
Well, I was in my hometown rink in Winnipeg, Manitoba. It's kind of a newer rink, but it was nice to skate there.
Right on, getting to get on some, fairly brand new ice during the break, which is awesome. Talk about, the things you were working on throughout the Christmas break to, keep yourself in game shape, and I assume also working on your skills as well.
Yeah, I was mostly working on just like puck movement because I have a cousin that I skate with every day. So we were just moving the puck around, doing like one-on-ones and stuff like that, just to keep it in like somewhat of a game scenario, not getting carried away and just shooting pucks around.
Yeah,
So that was
right.
definitely nice.
Right on. And gotta ask you, who was winning the 1v1s between you and your cousin, or were you guys even keeping score? Are you just playing for fun?
Yeah, it got kind of competitive near the end, but I think we were pretty tight in the score.
All right on. Well, it's always going to get competitive when you're talking about 1v1s, 2v2s out there. You try to avoid it maybe, but it's always going to have that competitive nature, right? Of course, with you playing at a pretty high level too, the CSSHL with the Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy Buffaloes U15 male prep program. This is the first year this team, this hockey academy has a U15 program, and just for you to be a part of this first season, what's it been like so far being a part of the first U15 program in Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy's history?
Oh, it's been really good. Everyone's been treating me really good, and skating every day is definitely awesome. Being able to play games not only in Manitoba is another great thing. And
yeah.
It is a pretty good academy. I really like it here.
Yeah, that's awesome. And of course, you are from Manitoba and from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Talking about, what the decision came down to for you to join Pilot-Mound Manitoba. I know that your brother, Liam Chartrand, plays, for the U17 program. Did that have a factor in terms of why you chose Pilot-Mound?
That's actually not my brother.
Oh, man. Is that your cousin?
No, I don't even think I'm related to him.
Really?
It's
Really?
like everyone asks that.
Wow, that's crazy. You learn something new every day. I learned tonight that Liam Chartrand and Liam Chartrand not related. That's good to know, Liam. But for you, what came down to the decision for you to join Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy?
A big thing was being able to be on the ice every day. Like, we're skating 5 times a week if we don't have games on the weekend, and you're bettering yourself as a player every single time you're on the ice here. And that was definitely a big thing, was trying to become a better player each time I get on the ice. So
yeah, for sure. And you've had a pretty strong season so far. You haven't played the full amount of games in the regular season. You've played 10 games so far, 8 goals, 5 assists for 13 points in the regular season, just second on the team in points as well. Talk about yourself as a player. What makes Liam Chartrand the type of player he is out there?
I don't know. I just try and go out there and do what I can do, you know? Kind of just like go hard for a shift, sit down, and then go back out there and try and do the same thing, whether it's rushing the puck up, trying to generate chances, finding open teammates.
Yeah, and definitely seeing your goal scoring ability. You got 2 less goals than games played in the regular season. You've dished the puck 5 times for 5 assists, 13 points, making you second on the team in points. Talking about how you felt you've developed so far as the season has gone along here in your time with Pilot-Mound.
Well, from my first game we played against Rink, I didn't really do that good because I was struggling with an injury, but recovering from that at the end of October when we played against Notre Dame, I find that skating for 2 weeks prior to that, it was like I was a whole different player. I just was stronger than ever, and then I came in and just used my skill, and it's been working. So
Yeah, there you go. And now you're second on the team in points in the regular season. But, there's been struggles this year for you guys. There's no doubt about it. 4-10, 14th place, 39 goals for 115 goals against as a team. But taking this into account that, you guys have never played with each other ever in your life, how have you been, proud of this team? Even though the wins haven't exactly been coming in bunches, they haven't been coming too often. But how you guys have been improving and just gelling together, day in and day out as a team.
I think from the start of the year to now, we've developed so much. Like at the start of the year, like it was definitely harder to try and get used to playing with players you never really played with. But like I didn't get to practice for 2 months, but even watching the practices and then being able to join them, I just noticed everyone was gelling together. We were starting to make really good passes like on the tape, and it's definitely coming along the way we want it to.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely going to be interesting to see how you guys, come out against OHA Edmonton team tomorrow night. Of course, a big CSSHL matchup to start off your guys' 2022 portion of the schedule. Just the excitement of knowing that, you're a sleep away from, being back in action this year in 2022 for the first time.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely really excited to hop off the 2022 season playing OHA. They're only a standing ahead of us in teams, so I think if we go in the game with the right mindset, knowing that we have a chance to beat them, I think we may be successful.
Yeah, and obviously you guys are closer in standings than some teams you guys have played against. What's going to be the game plan heading into this game tomorrow night? Playing at home against an OHA Edmonton team that's on a 4-game losing streak, looking to come in hungry for the win as you guys are as well.
Yeah, just hopefully get a good sleep tonight, all of us. Wake up, eat, have practice at 8:00. Try and focus on some fundamentals of our game that we need to focus on, like our power play, like what we're gonna do if we on the penalty kill, and just our 5-on-5, and then go home, eat, rest, and then just like that would be game time, and hopefully go into the game with the right mindset that we could come out successful.
Yeah, you got to do all those right things, right? Put you guys into the best situation to, come out with a strong performance against the OHA Edmonton team tomorrow night. Of course, this game going to be brought to you brought to you by ASTV Productions, as we will be broadcasting it to everyone watching. But talking more about your first year being in Pilot-Mound, just talking about the academy lifestyle, what it's been like to experience all the things that you've experienced so far this year, like being on the ice 5 times a week, every day of the week, being able to, train in the gym whenever you guys want to, going on road trips and all the things that have come with this experience so far.
Yeah, it's been a great experience. The hockey experience and being able to, strengthen your muscles every single day is a huge factor in this game. And Living where I do, like at Brooks and Reggie's, it's also amazing. It was like a home away from home pretty much when I arrived here.
Yeah.
And they've been a huge help to like why I really like it here too. And road trips with the team are fun. We get along. Even if all of us may sleep for about 6 hours, if when we wake up, we all just, get along. And it's nice. It really is.
Yeah, for sure. And it's so great that you guys have been able to have so many positive experiences on the road trip so far that you guys have taken. What's that been like, getting to play outside of Manitoba, playing against many different teams from many different places in the CSSHL?
It, it, it's actually amazing, honestly, being able to like see the talent in other provinces versus Manitoba. Like, some of these kids that we're playing against, they're really skilled hockey players, and it's nice to want to like challenge yourself to try and be the better player on the ice. Even if it doesn't work, it's just like a mindset that you want to have, kind of.
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
try and be the better team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And playing against this high level of competition, especially with you guys the age that this team is at, definitely gonna make you guys better just experiencing these things, playing against this highly skilled talent in the CSSHL. Talking about adjusting to the level of playing in the CSSHL as the season has gone along, what that's been like, just adjusting to the skill that's been shown out there.
Wait, can you hold on? I'm gonna go tell him to quit using the ice machine.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. Oh, the ice machine, it's classic in Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy. I know that. I believe it was Bo Murray when I had him on. Yeah, when I had Bo on, it was the ice machine was going off as well. That's funny you bring it up, the ice machine, because I know when I had Bo on the show here, he had to tell them to shut it off because it was pretty loud. I honestly didn't hear it this time, so
Yeah.
that's a good sign. But thanks for doing that, man. Speaking about playing with Bo Murray, I know you guys have had a chance to play on the same line at times this season. When we have covered, you guys at Blackjack Stewart Arena, talking about playing alongside your captain when you've been able to this season.
Oh, it's been amazing. I've never been able to just like give my teammate the puck in like any scenario in the offensive zone, and like him just being able to just get it off and score is definitely a huge help for me. Like, if I take the puck up, I can find him anywhere on the ice, and he's probably gonna bury the puck. And we gel together really good, and I'm happy I'm playing with him, like my line I'm on.
Yeah, and you and Bo and your other line mate, I forget who it is. What's the full line you guys have been playing on? It's been
me, Bo, and Adam Kelly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you guys have gelled really well together. From what we've seen here on the network, pretty sure you guys played with each other when we, all three on the same line when we did broadcast your guys' game. But great to know that you guys are gelling and really enjoying playing with each other on the same line. I'll re-ask you the question I was asking you before you went to tell the boys to shut off the ice machine. Last question before I let you go here, Liam. Go get a good night's rest after this. Talking about just adjusting to the skill level that's been shown out there in the CSSHL as the season has gone along, how it's been for you getting used to it.
Well, at the start of the year, I didn't really know like what to expect, if it was going to be really physical, if it's going to be fast, like, and when we played, it was definitely a good experience to play RHA because they're big, they're physical, they're fast, and adapting to the way they played. Like I said, I was injured for 2 months, so coming back, it was pretty nerve-wracking, just like knowing that I could have gotten injured again.
Yeah.
But when I came back, I knew that I needed to be a physical player and use my speed to do stuff. And when I started to put the pieces together, I think I've been doing really good, like using my body and my speed.
Well, that's awesome to hear. You're over a point per game player at this point in the season. You're definitely looking to keep that pace up. So, best of luck to you and the boys. Tomorrow night, game will be shown on ASTV. So many people will be able to watch you guys take on OHA, Okanagan Hockey Academy, Edmonton U15 prep tomorrow at your guys' home rink, Blackjack Stewart Arena in Pilot-Mound, Manitoba. But best of luck in that game tomorrow night, man, for you and the team, and best of luck to you and the team moving forward in the season. Keep enjoying the Hockey Academy lifestyle at Pilot-Mound, and thanks for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Liam Chartrand, number 9, forward of the Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy U15 Male Prep Buffaloes, joining tonight's edition of the show. You take care, Liam.
Yeah, you too.
Liam Chartrand, of course, looking to continue his strong season and looking to help the Buffaloes, start improving their record, starting off with tomorrow night's game against the OHA Edmonton U15 prep team. Probably should have checked where him and Riel were from, because this has happened once or twice now, and should be on top of these things as a TV host, knowing where these players are from, knowing who's related and who's not. But that's okay. Can only go up from here in 2022. It's the start of a brand new year, so we will get better here. I will get better as the year goes along here on Coffee with Graeme, getting you guys the real facts, bringing you guys the best information as possible from these players. But we ain't done here on Coffee with Graeme. One more to go. This week's edition of the Hawks Report is coming up next on Coffee with Graeme, with assistant captain, leading goal scorer, and point getter in the MFHL, Abbey Bourdeaud'hui. She comes on the show to talk about what it's been like being back with the team after their Christmas break. The week of practices that they have had. They only had one practice this week on Wednesday. Abby will get into why that was in the report, but also going to be talking about the upcoming weekend of games, as well as talking to Abby about her the season she's had and the commitment she made to the University of Alberta to play Pandas hockey for the 2022-2023 season. You're watching Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions, ending off tonight's show with the Hawks Report next here on ASTV Productions. Stick around, everyone. Joining the first edition of the Hawks Report in 2022 is none other than number 18, assistant captain of the Pembina Valley Hawks, Abbey Bourdeaud'hui. Abby, thanks for taking the time out of your Thursday and joining the show. The team is back to work this week. You guys already had 2 practices, getting set for your big matchup tomorrow night against the Winnipeg Avros. How's it feel being back, getting back into the swing of things with the team?
Really good. It's super exciting to get into the second half. I think everyone's really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and you guys are currently sitting in 5th place, looking to improve on the record as the season continues to roll along here. Just talk about this group of girls this season, the type of skill, the type of, mentality this team has so far this season that's been shown out there.
Oh, it's a great group of girls. Super fun, super welcoming. They're all awesome group. Super positive on the ice, and it's just super fun to play with this group.
Yeah, for sure. We've definitely seen that here on ASTD when we broadcasted your guys' games, just you guys being so energetic on the bench, which is awesome to see. Talking about it, what's it been like getting back with the girls, getting back to work at practice so far this week?
Really exciting. Lots to catch up on with not seeing them for 2 weeks. And I think everyone was just super happy to be back together.
You guys practiced on Tuesday and Wednesday night. Just talk about, what was worked on. Was it just more of getting that rest off in the first practice on Tuesday?
Tuesday's practice was actually canceled. So we, because of the roads,
right,
we did a workout there, and that was just kind of getting back into the swing of things. And then Wednesday, we came into practice and did lots of battles and just to get back into it.
Right on, just getting back into that competitive mindset for sure. Talk about the Tim Shantz workout that you guys did on Tuesday evening. You know what that workout involved?
It was just a lot of lower body and just kind of getting ready up for this weekend and for the practice on Wednesday.
And then you guys got cardio prep tonight. Talk about what's going to be the focus of that, knowing that you guys got 2 big games coming up this weekend, trying to climb up in the standings a bit.
Definitely just getting our feet moving, getting our bodies ready, getting that mentality down for sure. Lots of that.
You so far this season, you are leading the league in not only points, but goals as well so far this year. You got 17 games played in the regular season, 17 goals, 9 assists for 26 points. You've already hit a career high in all points, goals, and assists so far this regular season. Just talk about how you found you've been able to take your game to that next level this year in terms of having this type of production so far throughout the first 17.
Definitely over last year because it was canceled. I did a lot of workouts and a lot of getting ready for this year and just hoping that we'd get to play this year. And I think that really helped me, especially with my conditioning and stuff. And I think that was really helpful. I also owe a lot of it to my line mates. I love playing with them, and it's a really good group.
What's that been like getting to, build that chemistry with your teammates so far this year, really clicking on the ice as a line?
It's been awesome. Yeah. Like I said, we didn't have a season last year, and I think this year it really shows that we want to play.
Talk about your biggest strength as a player out there. From what we've seen here on ASTV, probably the biggest thing I've noticed is just how you can generate so many things with your speed out there. Would you say that your speed is probably arguably the biggest strength of your game, or is it something else?
Yeah, I think that is a part of it, big part of it. That is what I was going to say.
Right on. And, your production throughout your MFHL career and this season has led you to commit to the University of Alberta for 2022-2023, school with the most Canada West titles in women's hockey history in that conference with 8 national championships as well. Talk about, how excited you are to get things rolling once next season comes along with this historic program.
I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a great program, great school. I actually got to go out there in October, and the girls were all super nice and welcoming. I'm really excited for next year.
And not only have you committed to a historical university in the University of Alberta, not only have you put up the most points you've ever put up in a regular season in your career, and you're leading the league in points, but you're also wearing an A this season. What was that like, being named as one of the leaders with the letter so far this year?
It's an honor, really. I love this group of girls, and I'm really happy to have the chance to be a leader for them.
Every one of the players from your team I've had on the Hawks Report and have had a chance to speak to have talked about, how great the dressing room is, how tight you guys are as a group. Talk about, how you guys as the leaders out there, as well as the rest of the returning players, have been able to welcome in the rookies on this year's team and make them feel like a part of the team so far this year.
Well, it's a lot of them too. Like the rookies, it's a really good group, and it's been easy to welcome them because they're just really awesome.
2 big games this weekend for you guys. First off, going up against the Winnipeg Avros tomorrow night at home. The Avros, of course, 13-2-1 on the season, 3rd place so far in the league this year. Second meeting of the regular season between you guys so far this year. First matchup took place on November 19th, where you guys ended up losing 6-4. You guys finished strong in that game with 3 goals in the 3rd period. Talk about what the mindset, the game plan is going to be heading in against a very strong Winnipeg Avros team at your home rink tomorrow night.
Definitely just want to come out and play a full 60. Coming back from winter break just to get into the swing of things. I think if we do play those 60 minutes, I think we'll have a good game, and I think we'll have a good turnout.
What would you say was probably the biggest difference in that first matchup of the regular season between you guys back on November 19th for the Avros to be able to come away with the win that night?
I think that night we had a really good third, but I think we were a little slow to get our feet moving. And I think this weekend we just got to come out ready to play first period.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely going to be looking for you guys to be able to do that this Friday, tomorrow night coming up. Going to be an exciting game to watch, as it will be broadcasted on ASTV as well. But your weekend doesn't end there for you guys. You guys taking on the Eastman Selects in Niverville on Saturday night on the road. Of course, Niverville 5-12-1 on the season, tied for 6th place in the league. It's going to be the second time you guys have faced them so far in the regular season. Last time you guys faced them on November 24th, you guys won 2-0 in that game. What's going to be the game plan heading into that game, knowing you guys are coming off a game the night before, getting ready for the next one against the Eastman Selects?
I think just no matter the turnout on Friday, have a short memory and come to play on Saturday. For sure, get our feet moving again early on, get lots of shots, and I think we'll have success.
And you guys obviously haven't played the Eastman Selects as many times as some other teams in the league so far. What have you guys noticed from the Eastman Selects from when you guys played them that you guys could really take advantage of on Saturday night, trying to get another win this weekend?
Well, they're a good team, and I think we just got to keep shooting and get as much shots.
And, last question for you here, Abby, before I let you go. There's been times where you guys have been able to have a full lineup this year, but many more times when you guys have had a few girls out or maybe one girl out. What's going to be the lineup situation heading into this weekend of games? Is it going to be a full lineup coming in for the Hawks?
Unfortunately, no. We did have an injured player at practice on Wednesday, so I'm pretty sure she's going to be out for a little bit again. And because of COVID, there's another player that won't be able to join us. So I think we'll be missing at least 2, 1 forward and 1 lead.
Well, you guys have been able to handle it all season long, as you guys have dealt with missing pieces in the lineup plenty of times so far this year, but shouldn't be a problem for you guys because you guys have been accustomed to playing like that, right? Abbey Bourdeaud'hui, number 18, assistant captain and senior forward of the Pembina Valley Hawks, joining the show here tonight on the Hawks Report. Abbey, best of luck to you and the team on Friday and Saturday against the Avros tomorrow night and against the Eastman Selects on Saturday night. Best of luck to you and the team, and thanks for coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Abbey Bourdeaud'hui, assistant captain, number 18, senior forward and leading point getter and goal leader in the MFHL, joining this week's edition of the Hawks Report for the first time here in 2022. Of course, 2 big matchups for them. I said that they can climb up in the standings, or trying to climb up in the standings. They won't be able to do that. They'll only be able to improve on their record. They are 8-9, and they are 6 points off from that 4th place spot that the Winnipeg Ice have. So the best that the Hawks can do this week is try to come out with 2 wins and get to 20 points on the season. Would be nice to see them at least get a win in their weekend of games this weekend. So we'll have to see what happens there, hoping that COVID-19 does not cancel any of these games. But we'll have to wait and see, as COVID-19, if it's taught us anything, you could say it's unpredictable, but you could also make the argument that it's predictable as well, with just, with us being in the exact same place that we seem like we've always been with this pandemic since it started. But yeah, that was Abbey Bourdeaud'hui on this week's edition of the Hawks Report. They'll be in action tomorrow night against the Winnipeg Avros at 8 p.m. on ASTV Productions. Be sure to check that game out, where it will be streamed on our YouTube at Amateur Sports TV. But folks, we are going to end off Coffee with Graeme after this commercial break with some final words on this edition of the show on this Thursday night. After the commercial break, I'll be back to do just that here on this edition of Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Welcome back to Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Most recently, Abbey Bourdeaud'hui joined the show on the Hawks Report for this week's edition of that segment. I want to thank Abbey, along with two players from Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy and Liam Chartrand, number 9 for the U15 Male Prep Buffaloes. He's a forward for that team, as well as rookie forward number 14 of the U17 Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy Male Prep Buffaloes for joining the show tonight, as well as Seth Rach for coming on his weekly segment here on Thursday nights on Seth's Inside Scoop and breaking down and previewing the upcoming matchups between the teams that we will be broadcasting tomorrow night. For the Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy U15 Male Prep Buffaloes taking on the Okanagan Hockey Academy Edmonton U15 Prep team, as well as some MFHL action Seth broke down and previewed between the Pembina Valley Hawks and the Winnipeg Avros. Of course, the Avros and Hawks game going tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on our YouTube. You can catch it there at Amateur Sports TV. And then the game between the Buffaloes and the OHA Edmonton U15 Prep team, you guys can catch that one an hour earlier as puck drops at 7 p.m. for that game. You guys can catch that on our website at astvproductions.com, on our Facebook at ASTV Productions, as well as on our Twitter at Amateur Sports TV. Going to be a great night of action tomorrow. Can't wait to, cover that game between the Hawks and the Avros, as me and Seth Rach will be bringing you guys the call for that game. And then Cody Wall will be riding solo in that game tomorrow, as he will be for that game tomorrow in the Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy U15 Male Prep Buffaloes and the OHA Edmonton U15 Prep team in Blackjack Stewart Arena in Pilot-Mound, Manitoba. But other than, me thanking the guests for coming on and being a great guest on tonight's edition of the show, I also want to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in to tonight's edition of Coffee with Graeme, as well as the wonderful sponsors of Coffee with Graeme for sponsoring yet another episode in AETI, Case Financial Group, Toby Hockey, Evolve Green, and Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy. Coffee with Graeme will be coming to you guys next week on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Time. You guys can catch that episode on our Facebook at ASTV Productions, on our Twitter at Amateur Sports TV, or you simply can watch it on our website at astvproductions.com. Stay tuned on Monday night for the guest reveal list for that episode. You guys can check that out on our social media pages, on our Facebook, on our Twitter, and on our Instagram as well, on at ASTV Productions, to check out who the people will be joining that edition of Coffee with Graeme on Tuesday morning. And besides Coffee with Graeme, I want to let you guys know about my segment that I do on the Prospect Show, a show where I interview some of the best hockey prospects throughout North America. I do a segment on there called Player Analysis, where I break down game tape of usually prospects, the players, the guests that I had on the show. But this week I did it a bit different. I broke down the performances from Connor Bedard and Matvei Michikov from this year's short 2022 World Junior Hockey Championship. Also, I might be changing the name of that segment from Player Analysis to something else, as I have seen on YouTube that there are many other people who do a segment that has the name of Player Analysis, but we'll have to wait and see if I change the name of that. But that will be up tomorrow at some point, most likely in the afternoon. A post will be coming out on our network when that does drop. You guys can check out Player Analysis on our Facebook at ASTV Productions, or on our YouTube at Amateur Sports TV for this week's edition of that segment, which will be dropping at some point tomorrow, as I said. But until Tuesday, folks, until I see you next on Coffee with Graeme, I've been your host, Graeme Forsyth, hoping that you guys have a wonderful rest of your Thursday night. Thanks for tuning into ASTV and choosing us and watching Coffee with Graeme on this Thursday evening. Have a wonderful Friday tomorrow. Have a wonderful and safe weekend as well. And if you're from Manitoba, make sure to stay warm, because I heard it's supposed to go to like minus 50 tonight, something crazy like that. I know Seth was saying he heard it's supposed to be going to minus 53. So it's going to be mighty cold tomorrow, most likely, as it always is here in Manitoba at this time of the year. So stay warm, stay bundled up, stay safe in that way. You don't want to catch hypothermia or anything like like that. So yeah, stay bundled up. Have a wonderful weekend, like I said. And until next week on Tuesday morning, folks, I'll see you then. Take care, everybody. Peace out.